Hello and welcome to episode 5. Yes, episode 5. We made it 5 episodes. Deal with it. I am Andy. This is Evan. Say hello, Evan.
Hello, Evan.
There we go.
Hey!
Hey! Pop, pop, pop. No, I am Evan.
I am
This
Andy.
is my Andy. Cut me off, but okay. It's Friday night. I got 3 cups of decaf coffee in me. The toilet's 3 steps to my right, and we are firing on all cylinders.
As usual.
As usual. So, typically, we do an episode with a guest. We do an episode with just me and Dewey here.
No!
Chit-chatting. It's sticking. If you like the new nickname for Andy as Dewey, drop a comment, hit subscribe, hit the follows.
Casual
we love
unfollow
all of it.
Evan.
Casually unfollow Dewey. But with certain days coming up,
very important
Sunday,
days.
Very important days. Typically, we do lives for these very important days. I know we did one for mental health in Canada. We did one for National Tortilla Chip Day.
Yeah, all the important
Very
holidays
important.
we do. Yeah.
So we're on it. We got our pulse on the finger of some nation under tortilla chips. But for all y'all out there who didn't know, today is the start. March 7th, today is the start when this episode will come out. March 7th is the start of international,
International.
I think.
It's us as well.
International. It is Women in Construction Week.
That's right.
March 7th to the 13th. I did some research in Dewey.
What?
This was started by the National Association of Women in Construction.
Woo!
Woo! But even bigger, or not bigger, but together, Synergy. Synergy is the essence of moisten. Even bigger or part of is Monday, tomorrow, March 8th. Monday. Usually we don't like Mondays, but no. I think I might like this Monday. I probably am going to still hate this Monday, but this Monday, either tomorrow if it's Sunday, today if it's Monday, yesterday
if it's Tuesday,
or if you're 10 days from Monday, a fortnight ago.
I'm going to need you to pick up your game if it's 10 days from Monday.
March 8th is International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody knows a woman. Everyone came out of a woman. Okay? There's a little song I like to sing. Do you know the song, Andy?
Is it Be Yourself?
No, it's kids who were born feet first.
I don't know.
Briefly wear their mother as a hat. Just did it. So, with all of that hot garbage to wrap it up, we thought we should bring on a guest so that way the guest and Andy can talk about stuff and I can sit here and make awkward faces.
We'll see.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll see. You might not see if you're just listening.
That's true.
But I will put the description of my faces in the podcast description. So Andy, in her infinite wisdom, reached out to an account on Instagram.
You may have heard of it. Instagram.
You may have Instagram. Made famous by Facebook. Made famous by Mark Zuckerberg. Made famous by Harvard. So basically, we are Harvard.
Yeah.
We are Harvard. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. This person is a level 2 HVAC apprentice. They hail from Vancouver, British Columbia, eh?
Oh, yeah.
For
sure, eh?
Oh, yeah. I believe one of our last guests was from the BC.
That's right.
Chris. This person is a 3rd-generation HVAC tech. Okay. Fun fact, moved to Canada in 2000 from South Africa.
Very cool.
So you might get a little of that Canadian South African accent. You know?
Yeah.
You can find her on Instagram and social media at HVAC Jess. Please welcome to Delta Sparks Pod, Jess. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, we're so excited. It's so good to be able to talk about this kind of stuff. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Basically, our intro is the test to see if you're really worthy to be on the show.
Like if you actually stay and sit through Evan talking.
So I passed.
You did. With flying colors. You showed up. If only school was that easy, eh?
Right?
Oh, So before we get into all the hot, seething topics that we're going to be talking about, your logo is Tinkerbell.
Yes.
And I believe I saw that you have a Tinkerbell tattoo.
I do.
So what if I were to tell you I have a Peter Pan tattoo?
No way! Really?
With the crocodile.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, he's going to show it.
Oh, there it is.
It's kind of hard to say. Okay. Peter Pan, crocodile.
Yeah.
And some muscles.
And some muscles.
Yeah, the clock. Well, the clock is in the crocodile's mouth.
As it should be.
Death, time, synergy. Take that in, Dewey.
Here's my Tinkerbell.
Oh my god, it's even in the same spot.
I know, right?
Oh, same arm. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I feel left out.
Oh,
Don't worry, Andy. We'll get you drunk and just get you covered head to toe in Lost Boy tattoos.
I would love that.
Yep.
I would love that. We actually went 1 year for Halloween and had a group costume that was Peter Pan. I was Captain Hook.
How was everyone Peter Pan?
The Peter Pan crew.
Oh.
Mister. I was Captain Hook, and my best friend went as Rufio.
Rufio!
Yep, it was awesome. She crushed it. And then her boyfriend at the time went as the crocodile.
Which Peter Pan, though? The cartoon version or my favorite version, Robin Williams?
Robin Williams.
Yeah, probably Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. So we have a lot of questions we have for you, some topics to chitty chat about. Andy, which one do you want to start off with?
Well, I think I want to start off with what it's like being a woman in trades for you. That's kind of how we started talking, right? Like through our women in trades kind of grouping, I guess, on Instagram. So what does that kind of mean for you?
Well, I'm fairly new to the game, and I'm quite old. This is a second career for me, and I just wish that I'd started earlier. I wish that I had gotten right out of high school, like my brother did, because I could be so much more advanced than I am right now.
I hear that so much from so many women. Like we're all geared towards university or go to college or college for the Americans there, like, and that this should be your path. Sorry, well, when I said university before, you corrected and told people that I meant college.
I didn't correct you. I was just saying, is there a difference?
For us, there is. Anyway.
Yeah.
But like myself, I went to university. I spent 5 years in university before I went to a trades program at our local college. But so same thing. I wish I had been a little more exposed to it in high school.
Absolutely. Well, I find it interesting because my dad, like I said before, he was an apprentice for his dad back in the 70s. And my brother kind of just followed his footsteps, but it was never offered to me as a career choice. Trade school wasn't even like an option. So I did the university thing, I got the office job thing, spent about 10 years in corporate finance in downtown Vancouver in a super fancy office, wearing all the fancy clothes. And I just never felt fulfilled. And I would speak to my friends and I would say, I'm thinking of doing something else. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be something. And they would be like, why? Like you work in downtown Vancouver, you have a view of the mountains and it's stunning, and you have this cushy job. We had a pool table in our kitchen and a wine fridge. Like, who would walk away from that? But every day it's just like, hey man, it's a decision factor for some peeps, but I was there just like unfulfilled. What else can I do? And so when I had an opportunity to work with my family, it was my brother actually that brought me on after I was able to go on a trip in Europe, and I came back to no job, and he was like, why isn't my sister working for the family business? And of course, because that's my place, I started in the office. I was working in the office for my dad for a good 9 months, sort of having the same feeling, like, why does, they get to come home and they have all these great stories about all these places that they've seen and these fancy things that they've done and these challenges, and like, why am I sitting in the office? It's like, that's so unfair. And
I want to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not only that, like, I was putting out quotes and invoicing things that I had no idea about. Like,
Right.
my dad is always in the industry, but I'd never really picked up verbiage. Like, I didn't know the difference, and this is going to sound crazy, but I didn't know the difference between a compressor and a condensing unit and a capillary tube even. They're vastly different.
Can you tell us the difference?
Yeah,
Just
what the fuck is
for
a
people listening? Also,
caterpillar tube?
we're dumb electricians, so.
Okay, so the compressor is basically like the heart of the unit. It does all the pumping action. It compresses the refrigerant. It's the most expensive thing to replace if it needs to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My car just shit the bed on one of those.
Yeah. You'll know it. Yeah. So what else? There's a condensing unit. That's basically like your outdoor unit. That's the unit that rejects heat out into the ambient temperature. What else did I say? A capillary
You
tube.
said something about it. Yeah, caterpillar tubes.
Yeah. No. Not one of those
Is that where it goes
very
in and then it
different.
comes out? The caterpillar goes in and then it comes out. It's a beautiful butterfly.
The transformation is amazing. No, actually, it's totally different. A capillary,
Weird.
yeah.
That's not what's going on in my brain.
Well, that's why, I got to go to school and learn these things. So,
But real quick, I want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Capillary tube.
I
Sorry.
need to tell you this. Okay.
I do. I need to know this.
A capillary tube, it's not boring. It's a really, really, really tiny refrigerant, like copper refrigerant tube, and it acts kind of like as a metering device, so it'll help drop the pressure between one part of the system and the other part. So
Very cool.
You would probably get along with Chris from Lower 48. He does a lot of instrumentation and stuff.
he's awesome.
He is
He
awesome.
actually was supposed to be our next episode we launched after what was supposed to be me and Andy, but you actually beat out Lower 48.
You
said,
sure did.
"Excuse me, Chris.
You
You
sure
can take
did.
you can take that big beautiful beard and wait over there." But you
Get in
said something
line,
really
pal.
Yeah.
get in the back. You said something really interesting, and I want to pick your brain on. I want to go a little bit deeper on it for a sec. So, working in finance, and people were like, "Why would you want to leave this?" Is there a certain mentality? I worked for about 1.5 years in a more corporate setting. I took a little break from the trades, and I know for myself in that experience, most times that we saw a tradesperson or a tech come on out to the site or something, there was like always kind of like a nose in the air kind of. And I wonder if you can speak to any experience or anything you felt or heard or when you were in the financial game per se, because when you were talking about university and college and it not being an option so much laid out to you, I was with somebody for 5 years, and her father was big finance, like worked for a very large
Was he the
stockbroking.
Monopoly man?
He was, and then it turns out he was actually Mr. Peanut. Same monocle. But because of the culture she lived in and was raised in, and the community, I should say, that she was raised in, which was a lot of wealthy people, a lot of big money, she kept saying things to me like, "Well, you're too smart for the trades. You need to go to college." And I'll be completely honest, as a young man at the time, 20, 21, 22, with the person I'd been with at that time 4 or 5 years, that was very difficult to hear, like basically saying, "You're in the trades, you don't matter as much," or like, that's lower too low for me.
It's like a lower tier of professionalism or job.
You're a subclass. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Which, to be honest, I'm 32 now. Never went to college, never went to university, went to a couple of rehabs, spent a couple of nights locked up, but I've owned my own house. I have an amazing wife. I pay my bills, and I got a little extra scratch on the side. So what was that like for you working in the finance, making that switch? Did you feel like it was like almost, I don't know how to say it, lack of a better term, yucky? Or like you were taking a step down? Yucky is the technical term. It's actually what comes out of the caterpillar tube. But what was that? I guess was there a negative connotation, and how did you feel taking that step, not backwards, but in a new direction?
I don't think I've ever felt like I've taken a step backwards. I think I've shifted. So I don't think I've felt that kind of ickiness that you're speaking about. When I was working in the financial offices downtown, there definitely was sort of an us versus them kind of mentality. Oh, you got to call the maintenance people. Like, okay, well, it was definitely a feeling. But now, when I'm walking through a place with my trade clothes on, honestly, even if I go to the grocery store after work, I feel like a badass. Like I really do. Like
I love that.
I love it so much. And going through trade school, I'm in trade school right now. I wrote an exam this morning on pressure enthalpy.
Good luck.
I'm telling you now, no, it's done. I'm telling you now, the trades are not the easy way out. They are not. I don't think I ever used like proper math, like algebra and science and stuff like that. Even in university, I did accounting and bookkeeping and stuff like that. But 19 years later, after high school, now I'm suddenly doing Pythagoras' theorem. What?
Hey, we did it too.
Yeah. See?
No clue what the fuck that is, but yeah.
Oh, Evan.
So what I'm saying is that people think that, blue collar workers are lower class because they're not quite as smart as everybody else. That is not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's hard.
It's funny you say that because when I tell a lot of people what I do for my work, I get a lot of good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like I don't get that.
Yeah.
Like the kind of like nose upping thing that you were talking about there, Evan. Like I get a lot of, it almost feels to me like some of these like older women and some older men too kind of feel like maybe that's a route that I had at one point thought could be good for me and it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that feeling from it. So that's interesting that you say that coming from your finance background.
And also just saying like the whole university student loans thing, it's crazy. Like people go to university, they spend all this time, all this money, they invest it all. They have student loans, student debt coming out of the yin yang for years and years and years. And then they get a job at Starbucks or whatever. They don't get a job in the field that they've been studying. And for someone to go to trade school, I mean, in Canada, I don't know how it is in Ontario, but in Canada, we have grants that, they pay for half of your school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that in the U.S.
But
Evan,
you also don't necessarily need to be licensed, correct?
No, that's just in my state, but you do need to be licensed. So I don't have to be licensed working for the electrical contracting company, right?
Right.
New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York are like the last three kind of gray area states. Whereas most other states now, like when I lived in New England, when you're an apprentice, you have to be registered with the state. You have to say what company you work for, be registered in a school, journeyman's license. Okay. There's laws in the states where, like, if you're on a job site, one journeyman to one apprentice. No, you can't. One to one. Master's license. You can own a company. You can have a certain amount of journeymen, but it's still a 1-to-1 ratio. So, no, it is still very much the same.
Okay.
I'm not a journeyman per se. I guess what the term we kind of use in New Jersey is I'm a mechanic, right? Which is like a journeyman level. I could be a foreman. I could be, you know, it's a gray area there.
Kind of gives you a little flexibility with that.
A little bit,
and...
but it's moving in the direction of like all other states and like, you know, like Canada as well, where, and I wish that my state was very regimented when I started out, because we didn't have formal apprenticeships.
Right.
You know, I started with one company. They let me go after 6 months because they were out of work. So I had to find another company. And like, I didn't know I was supposed to keep track of my hours and get things signed off.
Yeah.
I'm almost 15 years in. I don't have any of my timesheets. Like, I'm just, you know, I have a career in the trades because of the experience and the knowledge and the time I've put in, but it's definitely not like, and I also just don't want to own my own company. Like, I like going, okay, it's 2:00. I'm going home.
2:00.
I work 8-hour days, 6 to 2. No lunch.
Okay.
You only work 8-hour days?
No, these past few weeks I've been working 10s and 12s.
Yeah.
And Dewey. But you said like walking through, getting back to the conversation, you were talking about like walking through the grocery store being like, I'm a badass chick. But like when you walk through like an office building, you're going to do a service call. I'm assuming, again, assumption, most people assume that a service technician or a maintenance person is going to be a man, because when people think of, I mean, we're going to break it down to the most basic constructs of like, you know, we talked about on an earlier episode, I'm in recovery. When most people think of an alcoholic, they think of a bum living on the street, drinking out of a brown paper bag. They don't think of a guy with a Peter Pan tattoo and a, you know, Grateful Dead clock.
Yeah. And a dream.
And a podcast. And a dream. But what does that feel like to walk through the office? And I'm sure you catch those eyes every once in a while. I mean, I catch those eyes when I was a service tech, you know, like, who's this guy? And you're probably, you know, what's that feeling walking through going like, yeah, what's up? Fuck you.
I think it depends, and this is going to sound crazy. It depends on how dirty I am.
I like that.
Yeah. So
and now we're going to talk about just the tip.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it depends. Like if I have an industrial job first thing in the morning, I hate it because I know I'm going to be filthy. And when I go to my second job and I'm just covered in dust, and I really try hard to, you know, clean myself off. But I think that's the time when I get most of the dirty looks. The dirty looks. Yeah. The fact that I'm a woman, I don't really think I haven't had dirty looks because I'm a woman. If I'm on the phone and I say, oh, we'll be there and whatever, sometimes they'll be like, are you the technician that's coming? I'll be like, yep, I'll see you there, whatever. Before I went to trade school, I would go everywhere with my dad and my brother. We'd do all the jobs together, everything. I could not be unsupervised. Then I went through level 1, and then I was able to go on a couple of maintenance jobs by myself, and I can do basic repairs and stuff like that. And I felt that I had to explain why I was there without a supervisor. So I would say, oh, you know, I've just finished my level 1. Now I can do this. And most of the people would be like, well, yeah, you've got this. Like, we trust you. Like, I got really good feedback.
Yeah,
and
you know best.
Good for you. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be here doing the thing if you didn't know what you were doing. And I feel also that I'm lucky because my dad wouldn't send me out on a job that I couldn't do without him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also find walking through like on service calls or such like that, I'm always like, I get to go places that you may not have been in your building. Like,
I get to go. Yeah, you're like, I get to go to your boiler room.
Yeah. Hey,
I get to go on your roof.
We actually, at my last company, we did a lighting change out for one of the local theaters. So I got to go way up like 90 feet in the air up on the like catwalks and stuff. And I'm like, most people, they're like, so cool. Nobody gets to do this. Like, this is so cool. And so I'm like, yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about my job is going into all these different places. I go into these like factories and manufacturing places, and they've got all this crazy equipment that's like bigger than me. I'm just like, this is so cool. Like one day I was in this place, they did plastic milk bottles for like milk.
So it's injection mold plants. Those are crazy.
Oh,
So crazy. And
That was my first industrial job ever.
but
Where I
even
learned how to
for food
bend pipe.
prep is even crazier too, right?
Oh yeah, food grade. Everything has to be rigid, typically rigid aluminum coming down your walls. Standoffs behind your walls, your pipes and your boxes, because you have to be able to get behind there to clean. I'm actually right now doing a 20,000 square foot refrigerated prep kitchen.
Ooh, yeah.
So that comes down to like safety for the food processes and whatnot. So
yeah,
I think that's pretty neat.
So
we get to wear these cool hair nets at some of these places.
Oh,
So
yeah,
so stylish. You know what? At least you don't have the beard.
Yeah,
my
The
brother
beard
does.
net.
It's so funny. I laugh at him. Oh my goodness.
I can't say how many times I've been sent to those jobs, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be here for a few weeks or like a month or a few months, and I'm like, clean shaven, fuck that. Like, I'll wear the top one. I once got kicked off of a job day one because they handed me the hair nuts, and I was like, do you have this in a Speedo cut? And they were like,
You're out.
yeah, it was they made painkillers there.
Oh.
And they apparently the place that they make the painkillers, they don't like jokes.
They hate fun.
Okay, cool.
Fun
and
should be
Speedos.
called a fun killer place, not a painkiller place.
You've had better.
So
jokes,
keep
Evan.
it. I have. So keeping on the theme of you're a woman, your husband in the trades, not in the trades.
He is not in the trades. Nope.
Okay. Is he in like an office setting type of deal, or is he a mobile type of profession?
No. So he actually manages assets for a rigging company. They do entertainment equipment and labor and all that stuff. So yes, he does assets management. So basically he manages the warehouse, makes sure all the stuff goes out, needs to go out, comes back in working order, lots of motors and yeah.
So he's still a little bit tool oriented and such.
Kind of tradesy. Yeah.
He wears work boots to work.
He sure does. Yeah. I knew that I would never marry an office guy. It's not for me.
Just not enough not enough common ground. I find like my husband's an electrician as well, so like I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, my wife's a therapist and I'm crazy, so it works out.
It works out. There's that common ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Built-in patient.
Yeah.
So when you decided to make that change to go into HVAC or go into the trades, like where was he in this whole process? Like what was his reaction?
Well, he wasn't really a factor in my decision. I'm kind of doing this because I want to do it, and he totally supports that. He is all for doing what you want to do. If it makes you happy, go for it. One person that gave me a bit of back was my mom, and my mom.
Same.
When I was like, I don't think
a little bit. Sorry, Mom.
I'm gonna register to be an apprentice. And the first thing she said was, what'll Jamie say? I was like, it doesn't matter what he says. Like, this is what I'm doing. It's not what he's doing. So yeah, he's totally cool, totally supportive. Loves to know what I'm doing. He even got Instagram. He's not a social media guy. He got Instagram just to see what I'm up to. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's support. I like it.
Yeah. But then I would come home and I'd be like, this happened today, and then this happened, and then this happened. And then he's like, yeah, I saw it all on the Instagram. Like, I want to tell you.
I just want to be clear that my mom was very supportive because I know she's going to listen and I'm going to get shit for that. So she was very supportive once she kind of knew what was going on. Sorry, Mom.
Andy's mom, Andy was shit talking you.
Oh, she heard.
I love you personally. I can't speak for Andy on that one.
So your posts on Instagram, I love some of your posts, most of your posts. Do you find that that's something that kind of helps you deal with your day-to-day stuff, like kind of release, kind of?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never really considered myself a creative person, but Instagram is really a creative outlet for me, and I love it. And the fact that I'm creating a bit of awareness for women in the trades, I love it. and I'm just having so much fun with it. Sometimes I think like, why do I post so much? Like, just dial it back a little bit. But I'm like, I don't care. If someone doesn't like it, they can swipe on over. There's no problem. Unfollow me. I don't mind. It's cool. As long as,
I get a lot of unfollows every day. It's great.
I'm sure I do too. It doesn't matter. It's not really for anybody else. It's for me. And you know what? One thing that I love about, sometimes you get those like memories. They're like, oh, 1 year ago this happened. I'm like, oh, I love it. Yeah. And that's for me.
Yeah. So. And you know what? I find that your posts are so genuine. They're so you.
Yeah.
Like, and like just taking, like when you and I both did the boot high heel post thing, I loved the take that you put on it. It was so cute, just like walking through the frame. I loved it. It was so good. Evan, you need to do that now.
Yeah, it's your turn.
I was literally gonna say I could do that. They don't make heels, or they probably do, but they're custom order in a size 13.
Sounds like quitter talk, Evan.
Yeah.
Listen, the last time I wore heels, I won an award. So unless I'm getting an award, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
But talking about like the Instagram and the outlet that it creates for us, something me and Andy talk a lot about on here with guests, because a lot of the people that we have on here, we've met through Instagram. It's been this really amazing tool to connect to people in other countries or on the other side of the country, especially during a pandemic where it's like lockdown central. And you talked about like you didn't consider yourself a creative type.
No way.
And I find that really interesting that you said that, because like we talked about how a lot of people maybe assume that the trades, you don't have to be smart, or it's not like intellectually stimulating. It is, but a lot of people also don't think of the trades as a creative outlet. Like I bend pipe all day.
Yeah.
Like it's to me like bending pipe or running, like building something from scratch is a very creative process.
Yeah.
In the sense
especially if you take pride in it, right?
Oh,
absolutely. And that's where Instagram really also kind of helped me, because so when I came back to the trades about a year and a half ago, and I didn't get into Instagram until about July of this past year, and getting into Instagram actually forced me to take more pride in my work, because like we've talked about it on here before, like I'm not gonna post like dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually literally might post one day like a picture of dog shit, but not like work that looks like that. But there's an art to creating. There's an art to learning and growing and bettering your skills to the point of where when you do something and you do it once and you walk away, you're like, wow, like fuck, like damn. I did that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's, when we talk about like opening up the trades as an opportunity for younger generations, so maybe it doesn't have to be a second option or a second career. For me, I fell into it. I didn't go to college because I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Like this is just, it was an opportunity that I've kind of run with. The trades are filled with so many different aspects that you do have to be smart. You do have to be, intelligent. You have to be creative. You have to be ingenuitive. Is that the word?
Intuitive?
Intuitive.
Yeah.
Ingenuity?
Ingenuity. Yeah. But you
Ingenuitive.
There's different ways of being intelligent. There's different ways of being like book smart versus street smart versus people who are very good at school, or people who are very good in the field. They can't articulate what they want to be saying or writing down into words, but if you put them out in the field, they just instinctively know. So there's different kinds of knowledge and different kinds of experiences that provide that stuff for you too. So
well, and I don't think I've gone to a single job, other than like regular maintenance and stuff, but I don't think I've gone to a single job, installation or service call that hasn't been a challenge. And you have to have creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, all of that. Like it doesn't when I first started, it blew my mind that you would buy a replacement compressor, exact same model number and everything, and the thing would arrive with a different configuration. And now you've got to right now you got to retrofit the thing, and you got to bend pipes to make it work, and crazy. You're always problem solving, or you have a plan in your mind. Okay, great. And now we arrive on site, and now there's a plumb line that you got to work around. And now you
thinking on your feet, right?
You got to change your whole plan before you can even start. It's nuts.
And creative ways to rework someone else's work too for service calls, right?
Oh yeah.
You still want it to work, and you got to make it look good. I don't know if you guys follow Heavy Hitter 86, I think. He has his Fuckery Fridays where we send in like just absolutely terrible jobs that people have been called out for service work, and some of them I'm like, oh man, I'd love to get my hands on that. I could make that look awesome. And some of them I'm like, I don't even know where you would start with that. Right?
Sometimes I wish in my industry, I wish installers did a year or two of service before they were installers, because the amount of places we arrive and they've installed this beautiful new equipment with maybe a P-trap right in front of the filter door. Like, that thing is going to run for the next 15, 20 years. How are you supposed to change a filter every 3 months?
Yeah.
I wish engineers had to have field experience, because let me tell you, if you're an engineer listening to this podcast,
not all engineers. I think Chloe the engineer might listen to us. Unlike maybe
if you're an electrical engineer working in the New Jersey area and you don't have any experience in the field, please call me. Let's have a talk. It'd be nice. See, I was nice.
You were nice. I'm proud of you. You've changed, really.
But like, there's absolutely there's a necessity for all the parts and all the pieces in terms of the personnel needed to, create a job, to plan it out, to lay it out. But a lot of times, engineers or the architects, they don't actually have practical, hands-on experience. So where they say, you're just going to go from this panel to this panel, and you're going to easy. Mind you, it's an existing building.
Yeah.
It's a hard ceiling because it's a refrigerated building. I've got 3 feet of clearance between the top of the ceiling and the truss. And you want me to run a 4-inch conduit 450 feet to feed, funny enough, the HVAC control panel. Okay. Ooh. When in reality, if we didn't do it from all the way over there, I could have scaled down the pipe size and the wire size and done it from a panel in the same room as the HVAC control panel with a 1-inch conduit that's like 35, 40 feet.
Yeah.
And it's just not being there, not being on site. But I guess they're needed. I don't know.
And it comes down, like for us, it's why are we doing it like that? Because it's spec'd. That's what it's spec'd for, right? So basically,
but that's
for everybody who's not listening,
fuck that,
or who don't know what spec means, is basically just that the company or the engineers have just basically decided that that's determined. That's what it needs.
Yes, they say
what spec is, right?
Yes, they say this is how it needs to be because I said so. Yeah. But fuck that. I'm sorry. If I lived my life because in the idea of, because I was told to do it. Yeah. You probably, Jess, wouldn't be in the trade right now. Nope. I would probably be in jail. Andy would be a nun. And, maybe we might not be in a pandemic. Who knows?
I'd be a bad nun. I'm just going to put that out there. But
yeah, you would be. And so with that, Jess, I think that's a perfect setup for our segment, Just the Tip. So, Jess, can you give our listeners a piece of advice? It could be about work, it could be about tools, it could be about life, it could be about anything you want it to be that you would like to impart out into the world.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. That's what she said.
There you go. I'm going to go in the life direction. And I'm going to say my tip is that find some kind of physical activity that really lights you up, that you get excited about, that you want to do, and take care of your mental health through physical activity.
Oh, that's a great one. That is a great one. Would you mind sharing with us what your kind of release that way is?
So before COVID, I used to go to this place. They basically did hot yoga, but they would also have high intensity interval training as well. So it's like cardio classes in a heated room. And that obviously in COVID, that was stopped. So it's so awesome. It's like an hour of sweaty fun. It's the best. It's the best.
Oh no, Evan, no. Be cool, Evan.
No, I sweat in cold temperatures. So anything putting me in a heated room.
Yeah. So it's about 37 degrees, about 100 degrees. Yeah. Okay. It's so good.
So is it 37 or 100?
It's 37 C, about 100 F. Yeah.
Oh, Andy, did you hear that?
I did. I'm very proud of her.
She did temperature math.
I usually have to go, okay, and now what's that in Canadian? Because Evan always just like spits numbers out.
Hilarious.
Yes. Sorry, I'm an electrician. I talk numbers.
Yeah, it's weird.
But no, I think that's a really good tip.
That is a great tip.
Before COVID, but now I've actually joined a big box gym because it's open. So now I'm going to Gold's Gym, and I kind of love it. I really did not want to go for so many
lifting
reasons,
weights and grunting and going, yeah, I'm a badass.
But I'm getting stronger. Like I really am, and I'm working on my headstands, and I've got some goals. So
goals. Awesome.
I have a physical activity that gets my heart rate up and gets me a really good mental clarity and release. But in case my father-in-law is listening, I probably shouldn't be talking about it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Evan, you're a married man. I think you're probably okay.
Okay.
Well,
I was
the
talking
segment
about
is
sex.
full just a tip, so.
Yeah.
I was talking about sex.
We got it.
Oh goodness.
But no, I love the idea of connecting physical movement with mental health. Saying
it'll just help you make better decisions and with your reactions. It helps with everything. During COVID last year when I couldn't go, that's when I really noticed it, that I needed that physical activity in my life, because I got to a point where my husband, poor guy, he was just like, oh, it's grumpy Jess again.
Great.
And I'm not a grumpy person. Like I really am not in general. And I was just like, oh, okay, I got to do something about this. And for me, I don't know why, but I just cannot work out at home. It does not work for me. I have to go to a place, do the thing. So
I'm totally with you on that one. My physical release is soccer. I play a lot of soccer, and I kind of bring like the social aspect in for it. And over the winter, when COVID hit, we had a full lockdown come into effect. So they shut down everything. I haven't played in months, and I'm going stir crazy because like you, I cannot work out at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy goes crazy when she can't play with her balls.
It's true.
Hey man.
But
so does Evan.
Yes. But there is a big connection between not being able to change the way you feel or think by feeling or thinking your way out of it. Yeah. There's really a solid connection between like moving a muscle, changing a thought, moving a muscle, changing a feeling, like taking an action and getting yourself outside of your head space to be able to step away from it and maybe let it go or work through it.
Well, Evan, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
There you go.
Or living my life, one of the two.
Or being Evan.
Or being Evan. So to wrap it up, we're going to hit you with our lightning round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I'm gonna read a few questions. First thing that comes to mind. Some of them are going to be yes, no. Some of them are going to be this or that. Some of them are going to be an answer. Okay?
No problem. You got this, Jess. I believe in you.
Hit me.
You got this. So first question. Favorite city besides the one you live in?
I'm going to go with Barcelona.
Ooh. Have you been there?
I have. I know.
I'm trying to think of how. What's the? Isn't it Barcelona?
Barcelona. Yes.
Barcelona.
I dated a Spanish have you been there?
No, but I dated a Spanish chick for a couple of years, and that's the only thing I remember. I'm like, you're saying S's like, And she called me a gringo, and I don't know. Okay. Second question. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Check. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your driving abilities.
Okay. 6.
Now, does that include your bike? Because I saw you've got a bike too.
I ride my bike better than I drive my car, or better than I drive my truck anyway. Yeah.
Okay. That's good because one has 2 less wheels and it can be a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I do a good parallel parking, I will Instagram about it.
I thought you were going to say sometimes if I do a good parallel parking, I'll get out and I'll just kind of do a little.
Oh no! I tell the whole world.
Like, hey guys!
Come see how good this looks.
Just fucking happened. First shot. Invite one person to dinner, dead or alive.
My grandfather. I would like to know more about him and his life.
Dad's dad or mom's dad?
Mom's dad. So his story is that, I know this is rapid fire, but here we go.
No, fuck it.
His story is that he was born in Poland, and during the war, him and his brother literally walked through Europe to get to their father in France. So it's a long, weird story, and they learned about 11 different languages along the way. And I want to know if that story is true.
It sounds like a hell of a story.
I don't know.
I want to know if they could fluently speak 11 different languages, or if they could just say in 11 different languages, "Where's the bathroom?"
Well, I think a lot of the languages I think were quite similar. Like if you know a bit of Spanish, you know a little bit of Italian and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
English is the only language that's completely removed from all of the European languages.
It's so different and on its own path. I don't know. Whatever.
I like that answer. Okay, so last question. You ready? This is a very serious one. Would you rather fight a chicken-sized bear or a bear-sized chicken?
Chicken-sized bear, for sure. It's an actual bear, right? And it's just really tiny.
It'd be super cute. It's like a dog.
Take that.
I don't know. There's some big chickens.
Yeah, but chicken. No, what was it? A bear-sized chicken? That's a dinosaur. That's a dinosaur.
Scary.
Fucking pecking at your head, those talons.
And
no way.
Imagine the egg that thing lays. It's probably like a Mini Cooper.
That's just.
Hey guys, look at the parallel park job on this egg.
Just roll it in.
Roll it in. Well, Jess, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us here on Delta Sparks.
This was so much fun.
This was a blast. Everyone, go check out. Oh, sorry, Ann.
I just want to say that Jess and I come check out our pages on Monday. We've got something special that we're going to be sharing.
I'm so excited.
It's a video of me and a Speedo dancing to the Macarena.
It is not, and we should all be thankful for that.
So go check out Jess at HVAC Jess on Instagram. Any other social media?
I want to do a shout out because on Monday there's also another major thing that's happening for us HVAC ladies in Canada. Mm-hmm. We're launching Women in HVAC Are Canada. I know there is a US. I don't know if it's like an organization or a group, I don't know what you call it, but there's a US-based one, and we are launching in Canada on Monday. We've got a website. We've got a group of amazing ladies. I am one of 2 BC ladies, but most of them are out east. I'm so excited.
We'll put that link in the description on IGTV as well as all of our podcast platforms. So check out the website, check out HVAC Jess. And lastly, guys, if you're watching on IGTV, head over to any of your podcast platforms: Spotify, Google Pod, Anchor, Apple. Hit the
And
subscribe, hit the
we're now
follow.
on YouTube. We're now on YouTube.
And
as
we
well.
now have a YouTube channel, or just go quick and easy. Go to deltasparkpod.com, find all your links, and we will catch you guys later. So, Andy, how do we end these? Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself.